Welcome back to...
No, Susan!
Yeah, what he said. Anyway, yeah. Let's climb this thing and swing.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is
know,
your
the-
commentator, Jova Hexian, speaking
You know,
here.
so-
We do recognize that the game has become a bit of a meme, and we hope that you strap in for a bit of turbulence as things get even more silly here.
Swinging off the rope...
Pilots, Troy, Pedro, and Plibs, and we hope you enjoy the rest of our flight.
swinging off the ropes is not as fun as doing it in Uncharted 4. But then again, no fun allowed. I forgot. Yeah, no fun allowed.
Pilot Jova didn't explain this, but I'm sorry, peanuts will not be provided.
Yeah.
In fact, nothing will be provided because we don't want this flight to be of any. All you'll get is a seat.
And please don't forget, passengers, if someone happens to die during the flight, be sure to shout their name so I know that they died. Thank you.
Make
What
sure
if I
to
don't
give
know
them.
their name?
Then make up a name for them, of course, and we will give them a proper eulogy. Never.
All right. So,
Sure.
all right. Check this out.
But here's a question. What happens if one of you arseholes dies?
There you go. Check this out. There it is, right there.
I don't know what you mean.
Oh boy,
Oh no!
Shambler.
Arsehole flight attendant is dead. Whatever shall we do?
That thing has a big head.
Wow. Check out the build-up to a new case of the infection.
All right. So, the Shamblers.
Do they explode?
I'll admit,
No, but
What?
much like the bloaters, they also can throw little spore bombs. Go ahead.
Okay. I'll say this. The build-up to us meeting the Shamblers is well enough filmed here and there.
Yeah, no, that was actually pretty. Okay. For as bad as the writing is, the actual direction of the game, like the directing, the cutscenes, like the overall in way the cutscenes are, the animations are directed, it's all pretty top notch. I'll give it that. But yeah, the Shamblers. The Shamblers are basically how should I put this? The game never found out, but I'm assuming it's an in between a clicker and a bloater because they look fat in the sense that like you can tell the fungus is starting to spread for the body, but they don't look quite bloaterish. In fact, they have big heads. Like it seems maybe it's one of those cases where where it's a freak mutation that's focused primarily on the top body. Their primary thing is that they're not as strong as bloaters. In fact, they don't rely as much on brute strength as bloaters do. In fact, they rely more on throwing spore bombs at you. So basically, the bloaters, they look scary, and they are. But unlike the bloaters, they don't typically use brute force. And well, the bloater will flat out beat you to death in a matter of seconds. The bloaters, on the other hand, they're a bit more, I guess, shy, if you can say it.
The weird thing is that, according to the wiki, Shamblers are not as physically enhanced as clickers or bloaters, so I'm a bit confused as to where they even are on the
Let me try that again.
pyramid and whatnot.
I thought that I had headed out all the respawns. Whatever. It gives me more time to talk about it anyway. And even show it a bit more. Let me see. It's a bit dark, so it can be a bit hard. But feel free to go to the wiki like Jova has.
I could post a picture.
Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, there we go.
There you go. That's the Shambler. Go to the Last of Us wiki, everybody. It should be there.
Whoa! That head, that collar around its neck.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's hard to tell if that giant thing is its eye or whatnot.
But yeah, like Jova said, since they're not as physically fit as the bloaters, they don't rely on brute force. They rely on spore bombs, aka throwing spores that turn people into infected.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we have gas masks right now. Both me and-
Okay. Apparently, it is suggested that Shamblers were in the process of mutating into bloaters. However, heavy exposure to water from the constant rain in Seattle causes them to change into Shamblers instead. So
That actually makes
apparently-
sense. That actually makes
apparently
sense.
Shamblers may be sort of an offshoot of bloaters. Like, they were
Oh,
going
okay.
they were going to become bloaters, but because of heavy exposure to water from the constant rain, they, I guess, evolved differently.
That actually makes sense because infections, because fungus will mutate depending on the weather and the climatic conditions. So that actually
That's pretty interesting then.
That actually does make sense. So
I have some bad news for you, Shirai, though. We won't really be getting much. Okay, it sounds like an interesting idea. Shamblers are pretty much the extent of mutations offsets. Yes, there are technically stalkers, but those are literally just what's in between a runner and a clicker. Like, you can pretty much tell just by looking at them that they're pretty much, the missing link between it.
Mhm.
Whereas Shamblers here are actually a mutation of it.
you know what this means,
that's
right?
something
You know what this means, right, Shiro and Dwibs?
Mm-hmm.
If the mutation had affected the UK instead of the America, the entire UK would be full of Shamblers.
Which again kind of makes me want to see what would different infections based off of the environment be in other parts of the USA. That would be interesting. But no, again, the main focus is human stuff, and again, this is TV Tropes has mentioned how it was such a missed opportunity to look into more stuff of what the infection can do. Yeah, we do get 3 new types in this game, but for the most part,
one of them is flat out Resident Evil-ish. So I figured you would. You'd
So I guess you could say the UK would be in shambles?
Yes.
Yeah.
So while Jova, since you're a big Resident Evil fan, I figured you at the very least have some kind of appreciation for that infected that I'm not gonna name because I don't want to spoil the name.
I did kind of like that particular one. The issue is that, again, that's literally the only time we ever see that, and it's never really explored or brought up again. It's kind of a big-lipped alligator moment.
It is not, and like I've said, it goes a long way in being such an just a fucking suspension of disbelief breaker, because it makes no sense for Last of Us to go full Resident Evil. That's not the kind of world it is,
Curious, Shirai, have you seen any Resident Evil games in action?
Little bits and pieces, never any full games.
Ah, good. Okay. Well, you've seen a lot of the BOWs, the mutation zombies and creatures.
I mean, the series is long enough, so yes.
Okay, yeah, you'll probably have a good idea what Pedro means when you see that particular creature. I mean, I do think it's nice and creative, but again, I think the problem is that the game could have maybe done a better job.
It is creative. It is creative. It's just out of place, It's in this game, it's out of place because it's not really the. Okay, let me put it this way. It's like if it's like if I had the Koopa's clown car in Sonic Adventure. It is an interesting idea, I guess, but it looks so out of place in Sonic Adventure's world. You know what I mean?
I mean, one could argue that in Twinkle Park it might actually work, because that place is kind of ridiculous anyway. But I get your general point.
I think a better comparison would be, imagine if we put a GTA car in a Mario Kart game.
Yeah, there you go. That's a good. It doesn't fit. I mean, yeah, it's a different. It's a cool idea to try something different, I guess. But just because you can do something doesn't necessarily mean you should, because it does feel out of place. This is not this boss feels it comes from a different game.
Let me put it like this. When Mario Kart 8 did that cross-promotion with Chrysler, they still tweaked the actual cars to look like they could fit in a Mario Kart game to some extent. Sure, they were a bit more realistic, but they were tweaked to look like actual Mario Karts of at the very least the proportion here and there. Huh.
Because they're huge fans of The Lion King. of Scar the villain specifically.
That's the thing. They're not even going to explain why they call them scars. They just call them scars because.
Because it sounds evil.
I was about to say, because it sounds derogatory enough.
Yeah. All right. Okay, so now we have a combination of runners and shamblers. And there's one right there. Oh, looks cute, doesn't he? All right. Let's see where to go. Where to go. You know, Jove, I'm starting to wonder. Jova? Oh.
Yeah, sorry.
Sorry, everybody. It looks like Jova was eaten by one of the infected. Sure, I'm starting to wonder. What was the?
Pedro, you were saying?
I'm starting to wonder, Jova. What was the name of that shambler?
Dakota Fanning.
Dakota Fanning turned into a shambler. Damn.
Sure, why not? I mean, it can literally. Hey, anyone can die. Joel died, so why not Dakota Fanning?
Any particular reason why you picked Dakota Fanning of all actresses?
I don't know why. I could just see her mutating into a giant zombie. Could be for an interesting Zombieland picture.
This is because of her role in Coraline, isn't it?
Wait, what's that Dakota Fanning? Oh, God.
Yeah, Dakota Fanning plays the main character in Coraline. She plays
No.
Coraline.
I liked her in Coraline, but I could see her mutating into one because I've seen her as a vampire, too. Where she was a soulless
yeah,
doll.
I wasn't saying that. I wasn't implying that. I was just saying because it's, that's this light horror movie, so
true. More of a horror movie than Twilight, I guess.
Here's the basic gist of it when it comes to shamblers. If a shambler sees you or notices you, because they can see technically, what you do is run the fuck away. Because fortunately, like I've said, shamblers don't use brute force. They'll just throw spore bombs. So as long as you keep running, you should be relatively fine.
You can try and engage them and take them down.
Yeah, they're easier. They're easier to take down than bloaters. I recommend using if you're playing as Ellie. I recommend using Molotov cocktails because, like I said, fire is super effective against the infected. So use Molotov cocktails. If you're playing as Abby, she can craft shotgun shells that burn somehow, and she also has a flamethrower later. So make good use of it. In fact, make good use of it for that primary big boss infected that me and Job are hyping up. That's what I did for the second playthrough because trust me, you're gonna need all the ammunition, all the fire ammunition you have for that boss.
You know, I gotta say, Pedro, this one area that we've been in, because technically we've been spending the last few parts in one giant area. This one giant area is like all these cool zombie things. Like you'd think they're making a zoo for the infected here with how many different types there are. Jesus Christ.
Well, it's kind of like a gaming thing. Like they knew that they were gonna need new types of enemies. So they came up with, okay, we have to come up with new types of infected. So they came up with the idea for the Shamblers and the Stalkers. And, of course, the one that me and Java keep hyping up.
Again, yes, they technically introduced 3 new types, albeit one of them literally only shows up once. It's just that I feel like the game could have done more. Like, really explore the extent to which the virus has evolved or show more of the in-between stages here and there. Like, they kind of only do it here and then pretty much lose the bit here and there. Oh, hello. Runner.
Alright, this guy should be relatively easy.
Much easier than us.
There we go.
Much easier than a... God, I literally just forgot than a Shambler, yeah. God, I had it on the tip of my tongue and forgot it slightly.
Alright, here's another one. We can jump him easily. Let's just climb here. And there we go. And the exit is right next to me. Cool.
You know who Going off the mentality of this game, should we be crying foul that Ellie is also killing infected? Like, they were innocent people. You shouldn't have killed them. You should have just let them be alive.
That's what I was. That's why I was asking you earlier, Jova. What was that Shambler's name when he was human? There we go. All right. We're actually about to get. We're actually going to get main plot now, guys.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Oh, boy.
For a moment there, for a moment there, I forgot this game had a plot.
It's like I say, I get it. They want to take advantage of this whole giant area, but holy cow, do we lose the plot, and it's not good for the pacing here. Lost Legacy had the excuse that, that was a much different structure kind of game where the main focus was on the open world here and there. That, and it was a much shorter game.
And Lost Legacy told a simpler, more character-driven story. Whereas, again, it's like Young
This is definitely more story-driven than character-driven.
And hey, that game at least had hook hand. This one.
This and like Young said in his review, one of the big issues with this game is that whereas the first Last of Us used its themes to fuel character development, this game does the opposite. The characters are basically plot devices for the themes and messages that this game wants to give to you.
Pretty much. Lord knows the tool Ellie's going to become by the end of this game.
Alright. Go ahead, Dina. Push that thing down. Come on, do something for... try to justify your presence here.
This is a neat sound of us, audience.
There you go! Hey, Shiroi! Dina pushed the thing! She pushed the thing!
Great.
Damn it, Dina. That box had a family.
Ellie climbed the train, and I helped.
Honestly, that sounds like something you should say to Dwibs during our Final Fantasy VII Remake runs. The box had a family.
Oh, dear.
But again, sure, like I said, those boxes have clouds, dead vomit, ashes in it, so that's not really.
Alright, so Dina's about to discover something. So check this out.
Oh boy, here we go.
Here, we can share mine. No! Don't take it! Stop! Stop! Ellie, stop! What? No! Ellie, no! Stop! I'm not infected. I'm immune. I'm not coughing, you see?
It's confession time.
Technically, Ellie already told her this, but Dina brushed it off as a joke.
Didn't believe her.
She thought it was a joke. But yeah. Alright. Machete! Haha. Love my machete. Let's run!
Thank God there's none waiting for us upstairs or we'd be really screwed.
I don't know, these are already pretty quick.
Headshot.
Basically just follow.
There's another F-bomb.
Basically just follow Dina.
Haha! Sucks to be you, guy. Oh crap, they can climb over those. Okay, never mind, time to go. And those guys are just flailing their arms around like idiots.
Like I said, Joe, when you get infected, the mind is the first thing to die.
Hey, wait a minute. You're not supposed to be able to shoot clickers in the head. That's cutscene power to the max.
Well, technically, yeah, no, you can shoot clickers in the head, but it just you just need more than one shot. Like you can actually kill.
That's the thing. He literally shot it in one shot, though.
True.
But I wonder what the last film released in that cinema.
They said right there, it's Cassandra.
Almost there.
A movie called Cassandra.
There's a film called Cassandra.
Okay, to the internet.
I'll do it.
All right, Jove and Shiroi, time for that revelation that I found hilarious.
Oh,
Well, there's a film called The Cassandra Crossing.
There's actually two films called Cassandra. One released in 1987 and another released in 2011.
So there you go. Maybe it's a re-release of one of those.
No,
Well-
it's those remakes that remove two of the words from the title. It's like the Pisidian Adventure, where the remake just calls it Pisidian. Poseidon.
Yeah. How weird.
And it was the last major film.
No,
from
please,
Peter.
no, please, don't have the characters actually talk to each other and interact in any meaningful way. That might actually, move the plot forward or something.
Oh boy, this theater. This is where crap goes down.
Tell me what's going on with you. What's going on with me? Ellie, I just saw you breathe spores. I told you. I'm immune. Okay. You're immune? Come on.
Well, how else do you explain this? I get that you're shocked, but how else do you explain this?
The fuck are you talking about? I was bitten and
I was
nothing happened.
bitten. Let me finish, you bitch.
Jesus.
Can you show her your arm at least? Like, was she bitten on her arm?
No,
I
no,
can't remember.
remember, Shiroi. Dean already knows about that. Remember, Shiroi. Ellie made a tattoo to cover it,
Oh.
just so that people don't notice it. And as Dina just said, Shiroi, even when people do notice it, she says it's a chemical burn just to hide it. So there's that.
And now you are part of the inner circle. That means I care for you very deeply.
And now, guys, the conversation is gonna take a 180.
Oh, is it here?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
I can't make you immune either.
Line. Thank you.
Sorry, I forgot my line.
Hold on.
I think I'm pregnant.
Well, she said say something.
Well, that conversation suddenly took a U-turn, didn't it?
And that's why she threw up around the horse.
There you go, dude. That's why she threw up earlier.
What are we supposed to do now?
Maybe put a mask back on, Dina?
I just need to rest for a second.
Well, actually, no. There's no spores in here, Shiro. That she doesn't need the mask.
Okay.
I was late a few
That's the thing, Shiro. The spores are visible to the naked eye, so they can always tell whenever there's spores.
She'll turn back. I didn't know. I wasn't sure, okay? I didn't want to be a bird. Well, you're a bird now, aren't you?
Yeah,
Oh, wow, that's harsh.
It is harsh, but at the same time, Dina should have told her suspicions from the beginning as well.
Yeah, I mean, you have an unborn babu in your stomach. And
Babu.
Like, okay,
Yeah.
whether you're sure or not, if there is so much a chance that you're pregnant, you really should, deal with that. Also,
Pedro, a lot of people on the internet have taken to calling babies babus. So.
and yes, Jesse's the father.
this kind of goes to
Remember, Dina was
Dina's bisexual.
Dina was dating Jesse before Ellie. So
This kinda
that's
goes
that's
back
the
to why-
that's the thing, Shiroi. Like according to her, she's loved Ellie for a long time.
She's still bisexual.
That means no, I get that, Shiroi. This means, Shiroi, that Dina has been basically just playing with Jesse this whole time. Like
Yeah, not only that, but apparently you do realize what this means, though. In order for her to have been pregnant by Jesse, that would mean that she and Jesse did not really split up that long ago.
Well, she said she's a few weeks pregnant. I mean, they hadn't been broken up very long when, all this started. It had been
still-
a week or two.
Yeah,
So
it-
it makes sense, actually.
It's true, Shiroi. But let me
All
tell
this
you,
has happened in a short amount of time. But yes, Pedro?
that is true, Shiroi. But let me tell you, like you yourself just said, she became pregnant like 1 week, 2 weeks ago.
She said a few weeks ago. The 1-2 weeks ago thing was when she and Jesse broke up.
No. Remember, Shira, you're forgetting it. Remember, in the flashback that we haven't seen yet, that's 20 years. That's 20 hours from now. Sorry. They flat out say that Dina and Jesse just broke up, and Ellie is even saying, "I give you 1 week before you guys are back together," and stuff like that. So they were saying that the breakup was apparently recent. So it's one of those cases where they imply, and considering, and as you can see, Shira, it doesn't show physically. So clearly, this pregnancy is recent, very, very recent. And I'll just okay, and allow me to tell you right now, audience. Keep in mind, I am not a doctor. I don't know the specifics of how pregnancies work. But let's just say the way the game handles this pregnancy is a bit weird. But that's all I'll say for now.
I'll just say what I said before. This sort of contributes to why me and apparently a lot of players sort of saw that it looked like they were going to have sort of a love triangle thing going on between Jesse, Dina, and Ellie, especially considering as how now there's a baby in the mix, and how Jesse may or may not have been kind of aware at some point. Although, God, that doesn't excuse what they do to him.
No, that later when he comes back into the story, when Dina starts feeling nauseous. He starts suspecting, and he asks Ellie, and Ellie confirms it. Don't worry, this doesn't spoil anything. It's like even the game doesn't care about it anyway.
Like I said, it feels like they wanted to maybe do a bit of a triangle relationship.
Oh, don't worry, Jova. We will have a love triangle in the second half of the game. So the love triangle is reserved. The love triangle is reserved for the second half of this game. So
and it sucks.
Well, when do love triangles ever not?
Well, they can be done well. I'll admit, it's not often you see that, but they can be done well. So yeah, Dina's pregnant. Do you guys care now?
It's not even just that. It's
honestly, I care more. I care more about the
guy that just electrocuted.
I care more about the sweet I ate earlier.
I don't. You care more about Bob. Oh, sweet Bob.
Oh yeah, Bob, the guy who mattered to that woman that we killed 2 seconds after we killed Bob.
Well, what about Laura?
Ah yes, Laura, that woman who we killed 6 seconds before we killed her cousin Andrew, who was mourned loudly by Louise, who was mourned loudly by Andrew, who was mourned loudly by, I don't know, their cat.
I just find it funny the moment that Dina.
Oh, it's funny you mentioned pets mourning. Yes, even pets in this game will mourn people.
I just find it really funny the way Dina, the moment Dina chooses to confess to Ellie. Like, Ellie literally just told her, "Look, I'm immune to thing, and don't worry, I can't get you infected or immune if that's what you're worried about." And she replies with, "Ellie, I think I'm pregnant."
Oh my God!
I mean, that'd be like.
And the props tomorrow.
I mean, that'd be like saying, "Don't worry, my arm isn't broken. I just sprained it. I'm having a period."
Okay, guys. The next part,
or something along those lines.
Okay, guys. The next part comprises of the first flashback sequence. Basically, everybody, the next part is going to be a look into the much better sequel that we should have gotten instead. So tune in for what is, in my opinion, the best part of the game.
And
see you then.
See ya.